Thanks, Glenn.
So, our last session as hosts. Sniff, sniff.
Yes, indeed, Stacey.
Who do we have coming up?
Well, coming up next is Ebru Kuchen, and she's a principal consultant at Contino. And next to being also a trainer, a book reviewer, lots of other things, she's also the co-organizer of PowerShell London, which is great to see. So in your session, you'll be talking about policies. BDD, so behavior-driven development on policies. For me, policies as a developer, that's typically something that comes in when stuff goes wrong. When you notice I should have had a policy to kind of control myself. And I think that's the case for many people. Many developers don't only see policies as a need when things go wrong. So yeah, hopefully you can shed some light and make policies more palatable, more digestible for other people. And so looking very much forward to your session on applying BDD on policies. I think we can't hear you. Ebru, can you check if you're still on mute? Yeah.
Nope.
All right. Ebru, you should be fine. Could you speak up again? Hello, Ebru, can you hear us?
Always a fun with technology when you're doing a live session.
So we'll be sitting here until everything works. So that gives us a couple more minutes together, Stacey.
Absolutely.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Hello.
Welcome.
Microphone doesn't work. I'm not sure how the laptop's microphone will work, but
We can hear you fine. So you have the floor.
perfect. Thank you very much. Let's see how the screen share will go. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
And now, as well?
Yes, you're good.
Perfect. Thank you. And I'll start with who likes rules and regulations. Where we don't have any input, we can't contribute, we don't understand why they're there in the first place. I started my career about 2 decades ago as a software development department where we had to follow specific processes and controls. I knew it was all good intent and to keep our code base and effort safe. Fast forwarding to today, I'm at the heart of IT department, working with security, networking, and finance teams to put these regulations into place. I'm working at Contino as a consultant where we do the right best practices for the right outcome from the cloud journey and implement the right operational model to allow the engagement from all departments in the business. And today I will tell the story how we changed the mindset of the central IT team of a top investment bank to enable collaboration with application teams. I'm a developer at heart. I'm a lead principal consultant at Contino. I'm vegan for the last 5 years, enjoying the ethical and the environmental impact I have done so far, selfishly. And I have 8-year-old son who enjoys Roblox and PlayStations. And with the COVID, he has more time to enjoy screen time. As a parent, I don't have any comments. So my agenda today is talking about the problems with the security guardrails, with an insight on what happens when a team onboards to cloud, and these guardrails, how they are set up. I'll explain how we enabled the collaboration between the application teams and the central IT team, which sometimes the blocker bottleneck. It wasn't an easy path, so I will mention the trade-offs we had to make and maybe it will help you if you are in the process of implementing or revisiting the existing ones. After 15 minutes, I would like you to remember 3 things. First, application teams should also play a role in those controls, as it's not just one team's responsibility. Secondly, BDD is great. If you haven't checked out, it allows the human readable tests to increase the collaboration across multiple teams. And lastly, try small iterations. Don't be afraid and innovate. It's okay not to get it right at the first attempt. So what happens when on the first day in the central IT teams, I'll call it control teams, such as networking, security, and finance. They should provide guardrails for the new cloud platform. They need to secure each service, such as storage accounts, key vaults, event hubs. Sorry. The list is endless. A good flow product manager would enable the priority of the items and ask for what features they offer and how these will be enabled, utilized. And the control functions teams will question the baselining standards if they have any similar services in-house. Classic example is the crypto keys. Sometimes there is no policy, sometimes there are some regulations, either not clear guidance, or for the symmetric keys, for example, or asymmetric ones, they may lack technical consistency or procedural consistency. Sometimes it's worse. There is no guidance of the definition of what's a key or a secret. The definitions can be misleading as well with the cloud's new terminology. It doesn't help the big picture. Another one is the regulations for the non-human actors or service accounts, where their secrets will be stored if they have to have certificates, and what their certificate expiry policy will look like. It may end up in long discussions. There's also naming standards, another example, with the new mindset can be tricky. If you have a cloud already, this is the second cloud, then can you implement the same naming conventions? Should the environment name 3 characters or 2 characters? Does it matter? If you don't get the right or agreed decision, you may be just redeploying the whole infrastructure after a couple of months in the line, and everything becomes immutable. It's okay to redeploy. It's just another iteration of the policies, not in the place, not agreed or contributed from multiple teams. And the next logical thing some organizations do is their desire to lift and shift the existing standards to the cloud. We didn't let them, application teams, to modify their secrets for years. They shouldn't renew their certificates. So some of the regulations could continue without a notice. With the number of the features the cloud provides increasing, the cloud journey becomes a journey to Everest, if not to the moon. And when the teams admit the traditional controls do not fit, the response we get from senior leader management is sad trouble. Then following weeks that are usually spent reading the online documentation, training for fundamentals. Now we have more questions on bringing our key policies, sign URLs, retention policies. Either they are called SDDs, the service definition documents, or TECALs, technical evaluations, with hundreds of pages of documentation to be prepared, reviewed, to create a holistic view of the products of the cloud. A good approach here is to execute well-organized workshops. I'm hoping also there are people with good cat herding skills to keep the focus on these meetings. Otherwise, you may find yourself in circular conversations. With the SMEs or technical advisory boards, the tactical and the strategic decisions, they need to be prepared, documented, ready to be implemented. Are they the right ones? When all the hard work goes in, the core platform engineering team submits their last PR, publish it, and the product teams can be surprised, if not frustrated, with what cloud they will consume. Rather than enabling the innovation and freedom, it may give them limited area to publish their applications to. If the decisions are on behalf of the users who will consume the platform, the shipleft never happens. And it's a recipe for disaster, disappointment, or should I say, to get the right outcome, application teams should be part of these discussions. And I believe this is where the cloud journey derails or gets success. So to get it right, what we should be doing and how we get it right, how we enable the collaboration between the central IT team and the application teams. First, we invited the application teams to these workshops. Make sure that they are part of the journey from day one. Then we created policy pyramids, where we share the responsibility across the whole platform with clear roles. The baseline policies are the ones for everyone on board to the platform. They are global and applied at the root management level. So they provide assurance to everyone. Second layer is about the shared policies for the services that can be consumed by multiple teams. And at the top level, we have application-specific policies, which enables rules and regulations. By organizing policies like this, gives the control teams to focus on what they care about and not to be the bottleneck for others. A good example is regions that they are going to be used. What type of tagging policies are going to be consumed or integrated with other systems? And maybe which resources are going to be allowed across the platform. And application teams can have a voice and freedom in their use case on shared policies and application policies. The key vault implementation, for example, can be customized according to the use case, where the client wants to purge the keys, list the keys. When these policies are all code, application teams can submit their pull requests, and the security team can review, and if they are happy with the policy and the test, they can approve, and they can just go live. So let's look at how we did it and what BDD looks like in our case. This is a sample of feature file. And BDD is behavior-driven development. It was invented by Dan North as a combination of TDD and BDD. He figured out that it doesn't work for a tester, a developer, and a business person to look at the test and understand what it does to get the right outcome. The tests are human readable. It's a live documentation of the test. It has features at the top, levels to categorize the tests, and it's split into scenarios to group the related tests, such as test suites that we can run together. Gherkin is the common DSL, which is the human readable to specify the behaviors given when then statements identify what allow us to write the tests and execute them step by step. To run a group of features together, we can use tags. They allow us to group by either for the specific resources or specific people or specific timing when we want to execute them. As the framework, we use the Cucumber.js. And here is how feature file is executed in the test. We We have chosen TypeScript. How this is the test implemented. We have annotations after and before to set up and tear down the test. We have guardrail annotations given when then statements. It's a simple regex to match the step definitions defined in the feature file. So what type of challenges we had? The first one was about the Azure policy. It's not real time. The engine runs up to 24 hours to get the compiled compliance report. And we assume that it may take the worst case the 24 hours. So we categorize our tests to allow which ones are going to be the first ones to get results or the last one. The second one is each effect has a different wait time. They don't happen at the same time. So we favored the deny policy, which is kind of the quicker response time compared to the audit policy, which was a misconception. And the last challenge was the Azure policy, which is a public repo, doesn't support versioning as much as we would like to. So we favored our custom policies over the built-in policies to track the versioning and to run them reliably. This is a kind of nice graph. Which effect has time. The x-axis has the time, so it does disabled append, deploy, if net exist, modify happens, then deny, and audit happens last. Whereas the most restrictive ones has a different order, disabled, and then audit, append, and deny. So it's just we had to take all of them into consideration when we write the test and agree on the effects. And in terms of the BDD, we had to do some trade-offs. The decision of the language, which one are we going to pick? As the Terraform was the infrastructure code that we have implemented all, Golang would be the default language choice, but we went with the strength of the team, which was TypeScript, and the learning curve is so low that we could onboard multiple teams picking up tests easily. Second is when to run the tests and where to run the tests. We executed all the policy assignments together with the tests, together with the deployment as well, so that a dedicated integration environment, which is the management group, can enable us to provide that real validity of the test. Here are some books. Actually, John Smart was part of our team when we implemented, so we are so lucky to have him. Specification by example, aka.ms, a good book to read, and also the BDD, implementing BDD is a good book to check out. I also included 3 references. Danor's first BDD blog post. Lee's Cow has lots of good insights on how should be implemented, and aka.ms blog posts on the spec law, and could be also interesting if you want to check out. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Ebru, for a great session. I think in the interest of time, if people have questions for you, they can reach out through social media and also post their questions here in the chat. So once again, thanks a lot.
And that's it for our time hosting the event. It's time to go for us, I'm afraid. I hope that you've enjoyed the last few hours as much as we have. It's been fantastic being able to be here and guiding you through these sessions. Don't forget the challenges that we have, the Cloud Skills challenges, aka.ms/vacd-challenge. Trying to remember to do that in English when I've been speaking Dutch all day so hard. Thanks for spending this time with us. Coming up, we have Barbara and we have Roland, and they're going to guide you through the next sessions. Hope you have a fantastic evening coming up. Goodbye.